Hello and welcome to Richard's Home Mechanics, and a warm welcome from me. Right, today's video is about how I'm going to approach and repair a plastic panel, particularly for a motorcycle that I own. People who own motorcycles will very fairly know that often you can drop them off the side stand and the fairings just shatter. It takes nothing to break them, or unfortunately like me, you slide down the road on your arse and you smash the fairing to bits. Now, you can buy second-hand parts, but motorcycles tend to be very expensive for parts, and this particular bike I've got is a little Honda CBF 125. If you can source the parts, they are asking silly money. So here at Home Mechanics, we're going to repair it ourselves. As it's an old bike and I only use it for commuting to the work, I'm not really willing and able to spend loads of money on. So all I want to do is get it nice and clean and get it back on the road. Now this is the panel we are talking about. It's a little tiny panel that goes on the side of the tank. Now they are asking extraordinary amounts of money to buy these new if you can get them, and second hand people are asking again silly money. Now what we've got here, scenario, bike's gone down the road on its side and these are so flimsy they crack and they smash to bits. On this particular example, on this panel, we've got a crack across here. What I've done here, we've got a hairline crack. So what I've done is I've put the masking tape across there to reinforce it when we do the repair on the inside. And what we're going to do, we've also got this part here that is missing off of this section here, as you can see. It goes in there, but before we can repair that, we need to repair this. So what we're going to do then, so recap, we've got a crack on here. What I've done, I've reinforced it with masking tape, making sure that's nice and square, so the inside is nice and level. And the way we're going to repair it is by using this kit. It's a fiberglass kit, very cheap and very simple to use. So let's crack on. Let's crack on and get this panel repaired. Okay, this panel consists of a tin of resin, a little pack of hardener, a mixing bowl and a brush, and of course the actual fiberglass itself. Now what you need to do is just follow the instructions. Now I can't show mixing up on here because you only get a very small limited time before it goes off. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just run through the bits I've cut on here. So what I've done, because it goes off quite quick, I've had to cut off the pre-patches. So what I've done here is I need to repair this area here. So as you can see, I've already cut a bit of fiberglass ready to go. That will go on there, and I've cut this shape, so the shape I've got to fit inside the fairing, just like that. You can trim it off, but what I'm going to do, you put that in there first, and then what you do then is you use strips like this, see these strips, and you go like zip it, like when if you had stitches, you go across like that, and what that does, that reinforces it. So let's get it mixed. Right, here we go. I've got the mix ready and here we go. Let's get it on. Right, first one's first. We need to get this patch in. What you do first is you need to put the liquid down. Let's have a look where the crack is, which is there. Put the resin mix down first, like so. And that gives it something to bond to. There we go. Just try and keep it as tidy as you can. And what we're going to do now, we're going to stick the first patch on, just like so. Very sticky stuff this, but it sticks really well. There we go. So once that's on, you go over the top, literally, just dab it on. There we go. It's going on nicely. Just dab it on, just nice and neatly if you can. But you are under a bit of time here because it does go off. I can't remember what the time is, but I know it goes off quite quickly. So you don't really want to hang about when you're working with resin and fiberglass. So there, we've got that bit down now. What we're going to do is tap it in, make sure it's all in the joints. Go around the edge. Now what we're going to do, we're going to put this section here that joins across here, the bit that I've cut out as you can see, which shapes in there. Let's put a little bit more resin in, like that. Don't need to go around the edges, because if you go around the edges, it's only something more you've got to clean up when you go to sand it down if you need to sand down. That sits in there quite nicely. Tapped it in, a little bit more resin. Go around the edges. If you go around the edges, tap it on. Look at that. That's looking good already. Look. There we go. Now that's looking not too bad at the moment. Now that's the first coat on. Just going to dab it down. Get all in the corners. Now, we'll leave that for a second. We're going to start putting the strips on now. So, basically, here we go. And what we're going to do on here, we're going to zip across. And what that does, it's like if you have stitches, if you injure yourself, as you go 1, 2, 3, 4, it's going to pull it all together. So what we're going to do, is put this first one on, and then I'm going to crack on, and then we'll come back to it. So we're going to put some more resin on. Make sure it covers the area. Now what I've done here, I've made the strip slightly wider than the original strip, so it acts like a stitch. There we go, put it in, taper it down. Here we go. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut some more strips and we'll come back to the finished product once I've got all the strips on. Right, so here we go, we're putting the strips in. I put a second strip in there, as you can see, just here. Stick it in, go around the edges. You want to damper it down like that, get the air out, and you want that to be nice. Let's get a second strip, or third strip, going on nicely. Before we put that in there, again, as we say, we're acting like stitches on here, like when you get a stitch. And the strips, supporting strips I'm putting over, are wider than the original strip we put down first of all. And it acts like a stitch, that's why I call it a stitch. Here we go. That's going to go over the edge like that. Let's damper it down. Here we go. Here we go. That's going to give it a nice bit of support on that edge there. You see, I've got the air out. The knack is to go around the edges, damper it, and get the air out of the patch. There you go. That's looking really pleased. I'm really pleased with that. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's looking good. It's coming together nicely now. Such a cheap fix, you know. I can't justify paying that for a panel, repairing these panels, when I damn well know that in less than a year I'm probably going to drop it off the side stand, hopefully not fall off again, because I don't like falling off because it hurts. As we all know, anyone who's done it on a motorcycle, it hurts. So there we go, just putting it in there. Dabbing it down, hope we can see that. There we go. We've got the last bit to go in. Let's just turn around. Here we go. Need to put some more in, resin. This is going to cover the corner bit, just here. It's looking good, I'm pleased with that. And what that does, it gives it a nice bit of strength, and if we need to go on and like further give it more you know, like fiberglass, we will, but I think this will do it. Got a bit in there, hope you can see that. Dab it down, dab the centre first because you want to get the air out, dab, 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 then just go around the edges. It really is as simple as that. Just try and keep it inside, nice and tidy. Here we go, nearly there. And all we need now, I believe, is a little bit to go along there. That's going to fit in there like so. We'll take that right up to support that. We'll dab it down, dab the air out, right down the middle. There we go. Looking really good. Doesn't have to look pretty because you're not going to see it. Doesn't matter. You're not going to see it. But get the air out, and then I'm going to go around the edges It's quite a messy job. Now, there we go. I don't really want to pick the panel up too much. I've got it on my fingers and it'll stain the other side. But that basically is the repair inside. So what we're going to do, we'll let that go off for a few hours, and we'll then see if we can get the second part that's broken in, shall we? Right, while the panel's drying off, I've nipped into the kitchen to have a crafty coffee and a sandwich. But I just want to show you a previous panel that I fixed earlier on this morning using exactly the same system, the same way that we've just done the red panel. And it's this one. This is a side panel. Now you can see there, this particular panel was snapped right off. It was actually broken off. I've had to join this together. It was broken in half. Now you can see where I've joined it. We've used exactly the same system by using a main patch going across there and stitching it across. Now these panels are 50 to 60 pounds at this present time. Now that's a lot of money. Now what's wrong with that? You know, if it was a show, buy a new panel. But we're talking about a commuter that's getting me backwards and forward to work. I don't need nothing special, I just need it safe and I need it to look half decent. Look, you can hardly see that repair. Now that repair there, that's cost, I think the kit was £20, and I'm going to be doing 4 or 5 panels because the bike got a bit of a bashing unfortunately, and so did I. It's cost about £3. £3 repair. It's a no-brainer, so do it. Get on with it, do it yourself. Anyway, let's crack on and let's finish this red panel, shall we? Right, we're back on the panel here. This is the broken piece here that I've replaced in, and as you can see the other side, I've put some masking tape to hold it in place, and I've made sure that it's perfect at the moment. So what we need to do now, get some more resin in there and do this last bit of patching fiberglass in. Right, we need to get this in, plenty of resin. Here we go. Hold that there. Let's get the first patch, which is this one here. That's it, I need to get a bit more there, I think. That's it. Try and be reasonably tidy. Right, first patch is going in straight across the middle of the crack. Expel the air. Looking good. As you say, don't have a lot of time. Goes off quite quickly. You've got probably 10 minutes, but I won't say much more than that. So we've got all the air out. We've dabbed it down. Gone around the edges. Here we go. That looks good. Right, got a cross section here. If you look at this, I had to cut some little shapes out to fit it in. It's a little bit intricate to get in there, but there we go. I want to get as much strength as possible on this, because this is going to be a very sort of fragile area, and if it's going to go, re-break, it's going to be here. So let's just put plenty of that in there. A little bit in there. Need to get some up there. Here we go. Here we go. Right, this is the fiddly bit. Oops, dropped the brush. Here we go. Right, this is the fiddly bit. Got to tuck this in up here. Here we go. Beautiful. Here we go. Make sure that goes in. Beautiful. That has gone in there. See that? That's sat in there quite nicely. So I needed to get them little prong bits up there. To get up, there's a little bracket there, you see. So I had to make sure that we're supporting that bracket as well. Right, over the top. Expel the air. That's it. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I'll just mix up some more mix and we'll carry on. Right, let's get these last few strips in, shall we? Here we go, let's move that round to there. Sitting there nicely. Let's get another strip in there. That's going to be the thin one. I made a little thin one there to fit up inside there. Beautiful. Perfect. One more. Just tuck that up in there. Run that along the edge, close as we dare. A bit of that. Okay, there we go. We'll leave it out and we'll come back to it once it's dry and see how it's going. Right, the panel's had time to cure overnight, so that should be nice and ready now. Shall we have a quick look? There we go. Now if you remember rightly, the panel was quite badly damaged. Now that has now brought that panel back to life. Now that is a complete panel. Now all that needs now is a hairdryer to heat these little transfers off, take them off, rub down, couple of coats of primer, etc, etc, a bit of filler, job done. Now that's saved an absolute fortune by doing it yourself, and it's something that the DIYer like you, DIY mechanic, and DIY mechanic like me are quite capable of doing and saving a lot of money and enjoyment at the same time. Anyway, thank you for watching my channel. Please feel free to subscribe down in that corner. And also, if you want to be notified, hit the notify and get the black bell up there. And then we will see you next on the next episode of Richard's Home Mechanics. Thank you for watching. We'll see you soon. Goodbye for now.